AITA for embarrassing my dad on FB over his post about being a single dad? NTA. Truth hurts, I guess. A once-a-month parent isn't as comparable to single parents who have their kids full-time. He is only sacrificing one night a month to be with you. Though, a question does pop into mind: does he provide financial support to your grandparents for expenses? Same goes with your half-siblings. I hope he is being financially supportive. Also, does he celebrate holidays and birthdays with any of the kids? But other than that, one night a month is quite isolating, so you are right in calling him out. Also, his post embarrasses itself since he used an old photo. Guess he doesn't have anything more recent? NTA, it sounds like both of your parents abandoned you, just one of them sees you occasionally when it's convenient for him. My dad said I was being disrespectful and I don't know what it's like to be a single dad. From the sounds of it, neither does he. NTA. NTA, and good for you. You spoke your truth, which was a verifiable fact. He deleted it because he knows you're right. It's not your fault that the truth makes him look bad, it's his. NTA, being a father and being a dad are different things. NTA, we like it when people call out BS from shitheads. NTA. Your dad is mad because you corrected him, but he's the one who involved you, so that's on him. He made you a part of his lie and you have every right to set the record straight. You aren't a prop, you are a person. Moral of the story: don't abandon your kids if you want credit for being a good parent. NTA, most definitely. You don't get to drop in intermittently and then whine about getting called out for it. A bio donor is not a single dad. NTA, but your father certainly was for posting that on Facebook. Sure, there could be more to it, like he's working a lot to help his parents take care of you, but in the end he wasn't there for you, and that is what being a parent is, so yeah, definitely not you, but him. NTA. I grew up with my mom working 6 days, 70 to 90 hours a week. I lived with her full-time and she always made sure I was in extracurriculars and we would go to the museum or art gallery. I'd like to mention we were not well off. She worked hard to give me the best life possible. These are the sacrifices a single parent makes. Your dad wants all the praise single parents get, without doing the work. It's not fair to you or your siblings, and it's disrespectful to single parents who do put in the work. Good on you for calling him out. OMG, fuck him and your mom. He wants his cake and to eat it too. That's not how it works. He doesn't want to actually be a parent until he wants to look good, then holds you up like some sort of prize. You're a human, not a trophy for him to show to one of his GF or idiots online. I'd cut him out of your life. He doesn't deserve to call himself a single dad when you don't even live with him. His parents are the ones doing the work along with you. NTA. NTA. Maybe it was a bit petty, but he shouldn't post such things if it's not true, and especially if no one has ever reproached to him for not being around. NTA. What exactly did he expect? NTA, and he is doing it to rope in some sucker to have another child with, probably. He should be embarrassed about being a bad dad and liar. This is tough, but if he is really as absent as you say, NTA. He doesn't deserve the accolades, he is giving himself, no less, for something he isn't doing. It was petty, but his posting and patting himself on the back while neglecting his kids is damn tasteless, and since you were the one used as a prop for likes, I say you do you. I hope you can take this feeling and maybe write something out, figure your real feelings out about how your dad makes you feel, and let him know now that this door is opened. He might just be a dick about it if his ego won't let him see how he has hurt his kids, but at least you'll have told him how you really feel. Tell him he's disrespectful to every single dad who actually does care for his children, and he also has no idea how it is to be a single dad. NTA. Mo, you weren't too disrespectful, just honest. It wasn't what he wanted to hear, but that's not your problem. If he posted it on social media, it's fair game. NTA. In fact, what I would suggest is making your own FB post memorializing how it was your grandparents who really stepped up to raise you and how appreciative of that you are. Might even mention how hard it must have been to raise a grandson because their son wanted to be a playboy, but that might be a bit petty. You aren't an off for calling the old man out on what is practically stolen valor. Man, I am a full-time single parent raising a toddler on my own. This once-a-month crap is exactly that crap. He's barely a parent, definitely more of a donor than a dad, and his behavior and bragging is pathetic. NTA hun, he's just using you and your siblings to pick up women with the hard-working single dad card, and it's not a card he gets the right to play. NTA. Your father, definitely not your dad, wants the glory without the effort. Real single parents, like myself, will tell you that parenthood of any kind is not glorious. It's not chic, it's not easy, it's not pretty, not a joke, not a part-time or occasional endeavor, not a task to only do when you're bored, it's not for attention, not clean or tidy, and certainly not just for shits and giggles. If I were you, I'd be making a very lengthy post about who the guy really is, his lack of attention to his kids, his lack of financial support paid to your grandparents, etc. And tag every single person he knows so that they can see the real him. I would tag your siblings, your father, and whatever new girlfriend he has. Then I would personally file for child support from him, or even emancipate myself from him. NTA. When you grow up you'll realize that bad people want to make it your fault they are that way when you shine a light to how horrible they are. NTA. Let him know, you have every right to tell him. He and your mom brought you into the world, you tell him any way you want. And if the truth is embarrassing or disrespecting him, that is because of him. More than anything, he should be guilty for being such a selfish person. NTA. He's a crap dad. LOL. NTA. Don't want to be embarrassed? Maybe don't be a deadbeat dad. That's embarrassing. Let's be real, he's probably let mad that you also tanked some of his girlfriend prospects because a lot of women would find a deadbeat dad a total turnoff. NTA. Tell him you're not raising us, all you care about is hooking up with women. NTA. If he didn't want to be called out on his bullshit he shouldn't have posted his bullshit on Facebook where you could see it. NTA. In the slightest. Hell, I'd be so petty if your dad turns up at the door I'd shout to your granddad, "Hey dad! There's a stranger at the door." And leave. NTA. He does not get to be the good guy on social media if he's not putting in the work. You just told the truth. I divorced when my oldest was 6 and my youngest was 2. My ex moved to another state, could not hold a job, never saw his kids unless I sent them to his parents, did not ever pay child support. When the oldest graduated high school, he came with his mother to her graduation. While at the celebration dinner, which my now husband paid for, he had the audacity to say to me, "We did a good job with her." I laughed in his face and said, "No, I did a good job, her stepfather did a good job." Now at 24 and 18 both of them do not see him as their dad, just someone who created them. Their stepfather is their dad. NTA. He wants all the credit for none of the work. Go your grandparents. Hope they make up for the absent dad. NTA. Keep it up and you might deter his girlfriends from making more half-siblings with him. NTA. Sorry to have to say, but he sounds more like a sperm donor than a father. Being an irresponsible idiot, having multiple kids with multiple women and then having to provide for them financially doesn't make you a single dad. Feel free to call him out on it again. He can't blame you for disrespecting him when he doesn't deserve your respect. NTA 100%. Everything useful has pretty much already been said, but I just wonder about your dad. Accidents happen and I don't know about the mothers of your other siblings, but dude, as far as I'm aware it's not hard to get a vasectomy, especially if you've decided you're going to be a shitty dad to the kids you do have. Well, Pops, you don't know what it's like having 4 siblings you barely hang out with and an absentee father that only comes around when it's convenient for you to impress whatever woman who will spread her legs for you. Keep up the misleading posts and I'll keep putting you on blast. NTA. NTA sperm donors like yours are like fake veterans. They want the glory of being someone who made sacrifices without the actual sacrificing part. Real dads don't make Facebook posts about how hard it is to be a parent, they just are parents. Being a parent is hard, so if you are making a post asking for help, I am not talking about that. Real parents don't leave their kids for months at a time with grandparents, or leave their kids to be raised by grandparents. I have to say this one bothers me most. Not only are these horrible people depriving their children of their parents, but they are also depriving their parents of the opportunity to be grandparents. Your sperm donor only cares about how he is perceived, not how he actually behaves. Telling the truth about his behavior does not make you the A. If I wasn't clear enough, your father is the A and deserves every bit of the ridicule he received. AITA. I come from a very abusive dad and a mentally ill mother. Both of them like to talk about being great parents and all that shit, but in reality they just treated me like shit and gave me a slew of mental illnesses, genetic and ones they caused from abuse and shit. I wish I had your courage to call your dad out on his shit. Good for you, man. I'm 24 years old and can't even remember what my dad looks like most of the time. He's done similar shit, and has pushed me away every time I've tried to help him. I basically had to raise my baby brother when I was around at the age of 9 with my stepsister, also 9, because he and my stepmother would be drugged out of their minds and unable to take care of 2 kids and a baby. You weren't being an asshole, you were calling a grown man out on his bullshit and he got mad because he knows the truth. Enta my kid's bio dad does that shit all the time. No child support or visits but will post old ass pictures with long captions about fatherhood. Ah, the Disneyland dad. We raised my stepdaughter from age 7. Her real dad would get her once in a while but was AWOL for the serious challenges such as paying for her college. When she was little she would come back and say how her dad was rich lol. NTA unless he is paying to totally support to your grandparents for all your care, keep calling him out. He is just using you to look good for his future victims. Sorry, I meant girlfriends. NTA. Your dad played the game and lost. If he wants to brag about being a single dad, he needs to step up. Good for you. You own everything that happened to you. Tell your stories. If people wanted you to write warmly about them, they should have behaved better. Anne Lamott. NTA. NTA. Shame on him, and honestly I pity him for hell. Never the true joys of actually raising and spending time with you guys. Bless your grands for taking on the responsibility when they should be enjoying their golden years. He's trying lure babes in with the tough single father routine and he got called out. NTA. NTA. Your dad sounds like the typical absentee daddy that wants the praise but wants to do none of the work. I had one of those, would come around once in a while and take me to a hockey game or some crap. He's just mad you called him out. It's the truth, you did nothing wrong. NTA. You see him for who/how he is and you called him on it. My ex-H has been uninvolved with our kids for 4 out of the 5 years since we divorced. I have him blocked, but see his posts from another account and he's always posting stupid "I love my kids" memes. Our youngest, 12, doesn't even want to talk to him when he calls. You did nothing wrong and are right to call him out. If he bothers you about it again, tell him it's reality, and if he wants it to be different then he needs to be better. Probably too late for you, but maybe not for your half-siblings. NTA, sounds like your dad only wants to be around when it's convenient for him, but he loves the attention he gets as a single dad from women. I suppose he doesn't want to be seen for the deadbeat that he kinda is, and when you called him out he got embarrassed. NTA. You don't know what it's like to be a single dad, but neither does your father. NTA. Your dad wants to have his cake and eat it too. He embarrassed himself. NTA. NTA. The truth hurts, and damn, my heart breaks for you. You do have parental roles in your life and I'm so glad for that. I would be so damn spiteful and next time tell him he's more like a big brother that you barely see. After all, you're sharing a father and a mother, but I'm a bit of an myself sometimes. I'm proud you stood up for yourself and let him have it. He can't be proud of himself for not actually acting as a father, and everyone deserved to know. I was raised without my dad too. So all I can say. NTA. That was just the right thing. Truth hurts. NTA. Another deadbeat father trying to act like he's active in the lives of children he barely remembers, and his ego bruised when his shit is called out. Tale as old as time. NTA, coming from the single parent he claims to be. Please do like I did as a kid and use his example as the opposite of what you want to become. Break the cycle. I am not sure how it could work in this case, and I am not absolutely suggesting it to you, because creating unnecessary drama at your age is absolutely pointless, and you will figure it out later on how to deal with your asshole occasional father. But maybe anyone here knows how to cut him completely and legally out of OP's life at his age? Like demanding that the full custody of OP would go to his grandparents? After all, he got abandoned by his father and mother, or ask about any sort of support or alimony. Obviously OP is NTA. NTA. You can only be disrespectful if there was something to respect in the first place. Having a dad 12/365 days a year doesn't constitute having a father. NTA. He doesn't get to claim single parenthood even if he was more present because you live with your grandparents. Even if showed up every day, he still doesn't have to care for you all the times he isn't present. He has immense support from his parents. Just because your mom wasn't in the picture doesn't mean he was raising you by himself. And to go on to father 4 more kids with women he's also not with, he's created this situation for himself at this point. Don't go out of your way to make sure people know he's not as much of a martyr as he claims to be, but if you want to correct misinformation when you see/hear it, then that's your prerogative. NTA. To be fair, he does not know what it's like to be a single dad either. Your grandparents are your immediate family, so that's the truth, and it hurt his feelings too bad. My dad said I was being disrespectful, and I don't know what it's like to be a single dad providing for us, so I don't get to act that way. NTA. He doesn't either. NTA. He doesn't get to claim credit without putting in the work. NTA. My motto is, if the truth hurts, it's your own fault. You may not know what it's like to be a single dad, although it sounds like your dad doesn't either, but you do know what it's like to be your father's child, and you've made the fair and accurate assessment that it sucks. As an adult and a parent, I am telling you that calling your parents out on their bullshit is not disrespectful. Using your parental authority to silence the unhappiness of your children is disrespectful. NTA. He is a bad father, and what you did was funny and deserved. Don't let this trouble you in any way. Okay? NTA. Your dad sounds like a tool and the truth hurts. He doesn't get to compare himself to actual single parents, and he doesn't get to use your pain as a fabricated bragging point to make himself sound better. It could be extra petty and make a FB post with the grandparents talking about how they're your real parents. He needs to quit the martyr act. AITA.